The Greek passage. Fade in, over black. Alternating digital sounds at regular intervals. Deep breaths. Interior, doctor's office, evening. Alternating digital sounds at regular intervals. A man's eyes are closed. The pupils move right and left under his eyelids, following the rhythm of the sounds. Deep breaths. An ear with an inserted earbud. Alternating digital sounds at regular intervals. Deep breaths. Interior, Giulio's mind. Time-lapse images of a daytime sky with comforting light. Alternating digital sounds at regular intervals. Breaths quicken. Dissolve to flashback, exterior, war zone, day. Quickened breaths. White smoke, sounds of war, shots in the distance. We enter into the smoke. Clicks repeat frantically. Giulio Seta, 30s, wearing a bulletproof vest and a military helmet with the word press, is kneeling on the ground. He has a camera with a telephoto lens. He takes photos at a dizzying speed, as if he were shooting a gun. His face is tense and sweaty. Through the camera viewfinder, a Frenchman, Thierry, 35, stands next to a truck. Camera click. Along with 4 indigenous mercenaries who are unloading heavy crates of weapons from the truck. Camera click. Thierry opens a crate and pulls out an M99 precision rifle and shows it to the mercenaries, who rejoice. Camera click. Zoom in on Thierry. He is wearing a knit beanie and sunglasses. Camera click. On the back of his head is a strange black tattoo of a large eye and letters on each finger. Camera click. Return to the present. Alternating digital sounds at regular intervals. Quickened breaths. Through the glass of an aquarium, like through a lens, is the profile of a man. The glass distorts his features. The light is dim. A huge, colorful fish passes in front, covering him from view. Alternating digital sounds at regular intervals. Even quicker breaths. The man's hand, afflicted with nervous tremors, grips a smartphone that's connected to the cord of the earbuds. Under his eyelids, his pupils move right and left. His brow is furrowed. Beads of sweat run down his temples. Alternating digital sounds at regular intervals. Even quicker breaths. Flashback. Exterior war zone, day. War sounds, shots, white smoke. We enter into the smoke. Camera click. Giulio is kneeling, motionless. He frames something with his camera. Through the camera viewfinder, Thierry points in one direction with his arm for those standing around him. Camera click. War zone. Giulio pulls the camera away from his face, turns toward the direction that Thierry is pointing to, and stares hard. Then his expression changes, becoming more quizzical. He points the camera towards Thierry again and takes aim. Through the camera viewfinder, Thierry, kneeling, puts the rifle to his shoulder and takes aim. The viewfinder of the camera follows the trajectory of the rifle's aim. It falls on a girl, 11, surrounded by several dead bodies sprawled out on the asphalt. She is wearing a long orange veil that wraps around her neck. She looks terrified. War zone. Slow motion. Giulio pulls the camera away from his face and looks in front of him, his brow furrowed. The tension in his jaw distorts his expression, looking as if it were made of metal. He brings the camera back up to his face. His gestures are cold and decisive. Through the camera viewfinder, slow motion, the girl turns her head. Her eyes look straight into the lens. They are full of fear. She stands up and climbs over one of the bodies. She runs toward the camera lens. The edges of the orange veil lift into the air. Her mouth is open and she is yelling. War zone, slow motion. Giulio's index finger moves to the camera's shutter. Impatient, he lightly brushes the shutter button several times. Through the camera viewfinder, slow motion. The girl runs toward the camera lens, closer and closer. Sound of a shot. A click echoes thunderously. The camera's diaphragm shuts. Black. Through the camera viewfinder, freeze frame. The girl is suspended in the air, her head thrown backward. Her hair blows in the air, her arms are open, and a spot of blood spills from her chest at the point of her heart. The orange veil has come away from her neck so that you can see only an edge. Warzone, slow motion. An orange veil twirls slowly through the air, unfolding like a leaf caught in the wind. Then all of a sudden, smoke, dust, stirred up dirt, and the roar of the sudden blast of a mine. End flashback. Interior, doctor's office, evening. Suddenly, the eyes of the man pop open. A moan of relief. His chest bends violently forward. It's Giulio Seta, the man with the camera in the flashback. He has short hair, a military cut, and his face is tense. He rips the earbuds from his ears. His head turns upward, and he violently inhales with his nose in the air in search of oxygen.
Breathe. Breathe. Slowly. That's it.
Giulio's face is sweaty. His breathing slowly returns to normal. The frame gradually expands. He is sitting in an armchair. He has a smartphone in his hand. He turns it off, rolls up the cord of the earbuds, and puts both in his pocket. He takes a Kleenex from the side table on his right and wipes the sweat from his face.
What did you see?
Giulio crumples the Kleenex in his hand.
Same as always. Mess of images, shots, smoke, and...
The frame continues to expand. On the left is an aquarium with a colorful fish swimming around. The room decor is simple. A floor lamp shines on Giulio.
Fuck! It was like I was still there. My head is pounding.
It's because of the blast of the mine, which has given you explosion trauma. Today, in neurology, they're called invisible wounds.
Giulio throws the balled-up Kleenex in the trash can next to the armchair, bends forward, puts his head in his hands, and furiously rubs his hair.
I wish I could erase everything.
The frame continues to expand. A foot, then crossed legs with a notepad in a lap, a hand writing on it, and finally the body and the head. The man is sitting diagonally in front of Giulio. He is his psychiatrist, 60. The psychiatrist shows him a page of a magazine with the title, The Top Photos of 2017, and a photo taken by Giulio of the girl as she is shot by Thierry.
Even this?
Giulio, upset, stretches out his hands and diverts his gaze from the photo.
I never would have published it.
In a fit of sudden anger, Giulio rips the magazine from the hands of the psychiatrist.
It was the agency in Mosul. After the mine, they took the memory card with all the photos.
And throws it in the corner.
The flashbacks that haunt you are only the straw that broke the camel's back. You should have stopped your missions a long time ago.
The psychiatrist writes a prescription and hands it to Giulio.
Here, take this. It will help you get past the episodes.
Giulio takes the paper and carefully reads it.
There's nothing else I can do.
Unfortunately, we're only 20 centuries too late.
Giulio looks up again and observes the psychiatrist attentively.
What do you mean?
The ancient Greeks sacrificed pain to the gods, but we must keep it all inside.
Giulio slowly lowers his head again.
Take some advice. Forget about the camera for a bit.
Giulio jerks his head up toward the psychiatrist. His gaze is tired. A bitter, challenging smile crosses his lips. His movements are messy.
You know what the problem is, Doctor?
Giulio taps his head violently with his index finger.
In here. In here, there's so much shit that not even a bullet hole can get it out.
You have to be patient. Today was the first EMDR session with sound pulses. You can also continue this therapy on your own, with your smartphone and earbuds.
The colorful fish opens its mouth in the aquarium.
It'll take time. For now, just take a long vacation.
Giulio looks at the psychiatrist with an unsure expression. He puts a fist to his mouth and pushes hard on his lips. A strange, stifled, hysterical laugh makes his body jerk. Dull sound. Giulio jerks his head towards the aquarium. The fish smacks the glass with its tail, splashing the water. Opening credits. Interior, exterior, rocky pub, night. Music. A group of people is dancing. The light is dim. Giulio is sitting alone at the bar with 2 beer bottles, lazily sipping from one of them. A photojournalist friend, Brian, 32, enters and sits next to Giulio, who hands him the second bottle. End opening credits. Brian takes a drink, then...
It would seem that your man's name is Thierry.
Is he still in Iraq?
No. He has reinvented himself. He's now trafficking refugees and migrants out of Turkey.
He takes another sip.
Do you want some advice? Forget about it and take a vacation.
We slowly move away from Giulio and Brian, as well as from the other patrons and their buzz and music, which drown out the dialogue between the two guys. From the other side of the window, outside the pub, Giulio and Brian continue to speak, as if they were in an aquarium. Dissolve 2. Interior-exterior, Nikolas's caïque, day. The wake of a ship, Giulio, wearing a khaki soft-rimmed hat and a special vest, sits at the stern, leaning against the bulwark. He's gazing out at the sea. The caïque crosses the waves of a turquoise sea. 2 Spanish girls, Alba, 23, and Isabella, 23, are lying on the deck, listening to music from the earbuds plugged into their smartphones. Camera click. Giulio jerks his head, annoyed. Carla, German, 30, sitting in front of Giulio, looks out at the landscape and takes some photos with her phone. Camera click. She's pretty, but with a troubled air about her. Camera click. Giulio stands up, takes his military pack from under the seat, and walks toward the wheelhouse. Carla turns. She has a quizzical expression. She sees Giulio open the door and disappear inside. Wheelhouse. Giulio looks around inside. From the wheelhouse, the outside and the deck are visible. Carla is looking at her smartphone. Behind the controls stands the captain, Nikolas, 65, wearing a hat with a captain's patch that has partially come unstitched. He has piercing eyes and a ring on his finger with a turquoise stone. He is standing and staring at the route ahead of him through the glass of the windshield. He is turning a string of Greek komboloi between his hands. Next to him, at the helm, is his first mate, 20, a good-looking young man with a dark complexion and Middle Eastern features. A comb sticks out of the back pocket of his jeans. A huge sponge sits on a shelf. A camera click is heard coming from outside. Giulio turns suddenly, but stops himself. Hanging on the wall is a police flyer with the word "Wanted" and 3 photos. One of Thierry with first and last name, and 2 others with the names Ahmet Arslan and Mufid Hussein, 2 members of Thierry's gang. Nikolas, still facing forward, observes Giulio in the windshield's reflection. Giulio's face changes. He mumbles something incomprehensible, his jaw tight with tension. His right hand tightly grips the strap of his pack. Sounds of friction from the hand on the strap. Captain Nikolas continues to watch Giulio in the windshield's reflection. Giulio sits on the bench to the right. His hands lightly shake as he unzips the pack and takes out a bottle of pills. He opens the cap. Another sudden hand tremor makes him drop some pills on the ground. With his foot, he crushes them, and a yellow powder comes out. Captain Nikolas takes a metal flask from his pocket and hands it to Giulio.
Leave it alone. Try a drop of my tonic.
Giulio takes the flask and drinks, while Nikolas turns and with his hand slaps the first mate, who's watching the girls laughing on the deck through the windshield.
You keep your eyes ahead. Don't get distracted.
The first mate nods, embarrassed. He remains with his back turned, focused on driving, while Captain Nikolas sits in front of Giulio, who hands him back the flask.
First time in Ceramos?
Giulio nods his head as he closes the bottle of pills.
Well, I don't know what you do, but if you like peace and quiet, this is the place for you.
Giulio remains silent for a minute. An ambiguous smile flashes across his face. He sticks the bottle of pills in his bag.
Peace and quiet? Nice words, Captain.
As he zips it shut, he leans his head against the wall, lowers his hat over his eyes, and doesn't move. Captain Nikolas drinks from the flask again and opens his mouth, making his tongue click. He turns to the first mate, who is in front of a small circular mirror on the wall, carefully smoothing back his hair with the comb and smirking.
Keep the hand more to the left. How many times do I have to tell you?
Okay, Captain.
The first mate quickly puts the comb back into the back pocket of his jeans and suddenly turns the helm. The caïque lightly rocks to the right and then to the left. The door of the cabinet next to the bench on the left opens, slamming repeatedly against the wall. Several objects fall out. Nikolas quickly closes the flask. The door continues to slam in an annoying way.
Good God!
Giulio lifts his hat and looks in front of him. A naval officer uniform with several ripped stripes bounces on a hanger in the cabinet. It was once white, but has become yellow over time, squeaking.
I should throw it out.
Captain Nikolas goes over to the cabinet and hesitates for a moment. Then he closes it again with confidence. He pats his belly with his hand.
It doesn't fit me anymore, eh?
Giulio doesn't respond. He lowers the brim of his hat over his eyes again, without moving. Nikolas starts to sing the theme of a folk song while twirling the Greek komboloi between his fingers and moves back next to the first mate. Exterior of caïque. The caïque of Captain Nikolas is navigating towards the little island of Pasermos.